You know, the term art from adversity comes from there needing to be great challenges taken in producing your art. You will need to overcome some harsh challenges, go against what many say, but in spite of it, you can hopefully create a grand picture that will help show people that you were right, that you were not just wasting resources, that you did indeed have a point.
Yeah, we can look at examples like Citizen Kane or the original Star Wars movie, where Lucas went through a lot of shit to get that movie done.
And yes, we have gone over quite a few films that have had troubled developments. Like, you probably have heard of how Apocalypse, made by Francis Ford Coppola, was a nightmare to make. Hey, you know James Cameron? One of the toughest films to make was The Abyss. And of course, Stanley Kubrick is a very, very hard director to work with. But my god, if you thought those were bad, hell, you thought The Island of Dr. Moreau had the most troubled development to a film? Oh, boys and girls, you ain't seen nothing yet. Enter in today's picture, 1981's Roar. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I'm just seeing the poster of this thing, and already I'm kind of having a laugh because the tagline is literally "No animals were harmed in the making of this film. 70 cast and crew members were."
The poster you read is for the 2015 re-release, which was actually using that as a marketing campaign, because no, believe it or not, for the original release of this film, this was supposed to just be a family-friendly comedy. One that was supposed to share with us a good message on the need for animal conservation and showing the beauty of animals unaffected and undeterred by mankind.
Okay, I can believe that because I found in the meantime another poster of wallpaper, which I think it's supposed to be, either Chinese, Japanese, or Korean, which is quite something. I might be tempted to use this for the thumbnail. God.
Looks Japanese to me.
But yes, no, the original poster calls it as Roar, a ferocious comedy. But, like with The Island of Dr. Moreau, for as much a classic as the film has become, that is mainly because of the making of said film. So, producer and director Noel Marshall, along with his wife, Tippi Hedren, yes, that Tippi Hedren from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, one day while in Africa saw a bunch of lions hanging around a Portuguese house and thinking, my, what a beautiful sight, lions just living nice and undisturbed. So this inspired them.
So what you're saying is that this movie, like My Country, played a role in this thing's existence.
Yes, partly, as did Dwibs's as well, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Okay. Allow me to make a little appeal here. Hey, famous people, it's okay for you to have a house here, but please don't use it for nefarious deeds.
Not just that. I find it hilarious that the origin of this movie still stems from the everything that thing that the world has never learned. White people fucking over with things they shouldn't in Africa.
Pretty much.
Seriously.
Like, look, I hate to turn it into a stereotype, but this is an example of rich white folk thinking that, oh, we can do this for these poor African citizens, if you consider the African citizens lions or big cats in general in this case.
I was about to say, isn't this more about the lions themselves?
It's still about the environment, that kind of holier than thou attitude. I get it.
Let me put it like this. It's on a similar wavelength to the Joseph Kony stuff, essentially, in 2012. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. So, basically, they wanted to spread the good word on animal conservation. However, they didn't want to be like slacktivists, just yelling at the sidelines and doing nothing. No, they were going to do something that mattered. They were going to make a movie. Not a documentary or anything silly like that, but an actual story-driven film. But, okay, so originally this film was supposed to be drafted as a film called Lions, Lions, and More Lions. Creative title. Originally, the casting called for just 40 big cats. So essentially, they brought 40 cats to their good old home in Los Angeles. And as you can imagine, the neighbors did not like it. Even more so, law enforcement didn't like it even more. So eventually they moved to a private reserve that they constructed in Los Angeles to be in the desert area of California. Yeah, for those who don't know, California is like a mixing pot of different climates. You want cold and mountains, go to the mountainous area. You want the desert, go down south, beaches, over there to the west, yada yada yada. So they went into the desert area to simulate Africa. And in doing so, they ended up adopting more cats. And more cats. Oh, and 2 elephants, and a whole ton of birds, because I guess Tippi Hedren just couldn't let go of the birds.
At one point, sometime in the future, we need to have a generation where we bring the Shira into this.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And hey, maybe we'll be able to even track down one of the many documentaries about the film. Well, that isn't a YouTube one. But yeah, again, they brought in a bunch of cats. How much did they have by the end? Oh, around 150 lions, tigers, cougars, leopards, panthers, jaguars. Yes, oh my. Goodness gracious. But there was just one little problem. This was in the 80s before CGI was a thing, and these cats weren't trained. They actually had to get these lions from either zoos, circuses, rescuing them and all that. Like, sure, good work and all, but they were not trained. So, Noel Marshall and Tippi Hedren got a big brain idea. Why don't we raise these big cats along with our children? John and Jack Marshall, and an actress whose name you might recognize, Melanie Griffith. Yes,
Oh my God.
Melanie Griffith was Tippi Hedren's daughter and Noel Marshall's stepfather. So yes, the parents in their infinite wisdom raised the kids with those big cats like they were flipping Tarzan or something. Like,
What could possibly go wrong?
oh, what could go wrong? Everything. Everything went
Yeah.
wrong. Basically,
Yeah.
this was a movie that wasn't supposed to take long to make. It ended up being 11 years in the making. Now, part of that was them trying to domesticate the lions and train them for the film and raise them with the kids. But, you know, there was a little problem that, well, they needed funding. So who better to fund this than the British and Japanese investors? Yeah, because they apparently thought this was a good idea at some point. However, even with that in mind, and trust me, at some point apparently some of the investors pulled out, the family had to fund things themselves. They had to sell 4 of their houses and sell a lot of integral film memorabilia to make it. This led to the budget being $17 million, making it the most expensive homemade film, essentially. Or the most expensive home movie ever. And it was an arduous task, to say the least. The end result? Well, at the box office, it made $2 million.
Jesus.
Critics were lukewarm to it, appreciating the attempt to give the message, but, well, the movie's not very good. And that's when it's not being terrifying. That said, it apparently did do well in Germany and Japan, though not in Britain, one of the countries that helped fund this picture, so oops.
But it took 11 years to make. That's like the Boyhood compliment.
Yeah, and the thing is, at least with Boyhood, that was intentional. See, originally filming was only supposed to take 6 months. It got extended into 5 years. Partly due to, the fact that trying to film big cats, because at the end of the day, lions are still cats, is a lot harder than you would think. The changing seasons made it so that during winter and fall, the place couldn't exactly disguise itself as Africa well. But But let's talk about the obvious main reason it took 5 years. The many, many, many injuries. In just the first 2 years of filming, 42 injuries were reported. By the end, allegedly, it was 70, but John Marshall, Noel Marshall's his son, and the only family member who dared to even help his father advertise the 2015 re-release, claims that there might have been 100 injuries. Oh yeah, and the making of the film gave him nightmares. Great parenting, Noel Marshall. But you know what? There's a whole ton of injuries to talk about, and this intro has gone on for about 11 minutes or so already. So, you know what? Let's actually start the film proper. Because, trust me, there is so much more to go into. So, be prepared to be dazzled by this ferocious comedy, as the film calls itself, and we'll see if this movie really is a hidden gem or one of the biggest filming disasters ever. So start literally at the start of the film with the music playing.
Chanting,
Alright, 3, 2, 1, click. The biggest miracle.
Spoilers, that's the latter.
The biggest miracle about this film is that not only did they avoid getting sued, no humans died during the making of this film.
Well, at least that.
Honestly, also for a bit of a trivia audience, when Joe picked up this movie, originally I got confused and I thought it was about a movie that I remember seeing the marketing of, about a family of people going to a safari and being stuck in a jeep hunted by lions. But apparently that's a completely different movie, so oops.
So again, remember...
Also, to mention, in Spain and my country, this movie is titled slightly different.
This bit. It is with the great pride that we display the seal of American Humane Association. Although some scenes appear to show animals being injured, they were never actually hurt.
I guess it's a lie.
Well, mostly for the animals, although, yeah, even for the animals, that's technically a lie. See, at some point during filming, there was a massive flood that wiped out a lot of the complex and allowed 15 of the big cats to escape. Unfortunately, 3 of the lions were shot by local law enforcement, who kind of were freaked out by seeing, giant lions.
But yeah, what I was saying, in Spain, in my country, this movie is technically called Roar, with the subtitle The Great Roar. So it seems that, the same people have titled recently the Suicide Squad in my country. Hold on.
Since the choice was made to use untrained animals, and since for the most part they chose to do as they wished, it's only fair they share the writing and directing credits. Yeah, that's not kidding, actually. Also starring Robbie as Robbie, one of the lions who was shot and killed.
Poor bastard.
Gary as Robbie's son Gary, so...
How the hell these people were not arrested for all they pulled with this?
Oh god, Togar.
I guess laws about animal cruelty back then were not as strict as today's.
In gratitude to the Masi and all peoples of Kenya and Tanzania, because yeah, they totally still go around all tribal like this.
Is this set in present day?
Well,
present day by 1981.
The year the movie was made, ideally.
As far as I know, yes. But of course, the Africans aren't the protagonists. No, it's this guy here. Hank, played by Noel Marshall. Yeah, fun fact, Noel Marshall actually wanted Jack Nicholson to portray this role. Yes, Joker Jack Torrance Nicholson. It may not surprise you to know that he took one look at the script and ran for the hills. He's crazy, but he is not that crazy.
Even I have my limits,
So, Noel took the role for himself, essentially. Oh boy, I'm sure Tippi Hedren won't regret that credit in the future.
Yeah, they divorced the year after this film came out.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, needless to say, the making of this film put a strain on the family.
Oh shit.
Now, you may wonder, wait, hold on, there's a lot of bike shots in this movie. Yeah, part of the reason is because a lot of the times the lions would just lie around doing nothing. Essentially, it turned into a bout where they would spend hours just filming the big cats hoping they would do something. One of the ways, apparently, to get them to react was that they would chase bikes, so bike scenes were added into the film, essentially, to get them to do something.
I'm sure there's a parallel, a parallel to Birdemic that can be done because of this.
Or, the birds, which Tippi Hedren was in.
Yeah.
And hey, Jan de Bont making his cinematographer debut.
I'm sure that will not impact his career.
Yeah, Jan de Bont was the film's cinematographer, and he was also one of the film's editors.
Also, no, my bad.
And here we see the white man doing his usual thing of messing with nature as he pleases.
I love how, and get used to this. Most of this movie is just shots of animals, like.
Gee.
Yeah, actually, okay, I remember what I
might as well be watching National Geographic. At least that would be informative.
I was about to say, considering apparently they got this much footage about the lions even not doing anything, why didn't they repurpose the footage that they could not implement in the movie for documentary purposes?
That's what many people wondered, but apparently they wanted this to be a feel-good, heartfelt picture that would show the true majesty and kindness of these lions. Let me put it like this. The family went on the mentality of, if you show the lions love, they will love you back.
Yeah. Love your meat, specifically.
What? Oh yeah, Togar. Okay! Togar constantly has blood on him, and I don't think that was blood that they put on.
Oh.
I honestly think...
So at best they were infighting, at worst something or someone else injured.
So basically, they shot all this animal footage and made a movie around it.
Yep. Again, they even did some things to get the animals to do some stuff. Like, they did try training them a bit, then they tried to see what would get them to react. So again, you get stuff like the bike scenes to get them to chase stuff. Meanwhile, Hank's family has come here. Fun fact, his kids are called, let's see. His kids are called John, Jerry, and Melanie. The kids' real names were also Melanie, John, and Jerry.
Yeah. Wow.
The imagination is just, I think all the imagination of this movie was spent on getting the animals.
I'm really sure James Wan did not, co-wrote this or something.
I wonder.
Adorable.
You have to wonder, how crazy do you have to be to do something that even Joe Exotic might say is a bit extreme?
I've seen also, from searching a bit on the internet, I've seen also comparison to a recent Netflix, I think it's a series or a documentary, which is called Tiger King.
Yep, that's Joe Exotic.
Okay, then.
I love this guy here. He's played by an actual African. In one of the documentaries, he does go on to say that the filming of this was, well, insane. As he said, we do not lie with big cats and all this and that.
I think. Why do I get the feeling this is one of those movies that had everything, all scenes dubbed over in ADR?
Oh no! Believe it or not, well, actually, yeah, a few bits were dubbed over in ADR, but trust me, when you see actors in fear, well, I wish I could say that's very good acting, but no, it's as genuine as that time during Jaws 2's filming where actual real sharks surrounded those teenagers.
Let me put it this way, I get the idea this guy's, holster that he has on his pants is not empty in real life.
Like, just imagine, no matter what happened, the cameras kept rolling. However, one reason for the film's production being, well, kind of extended was because, shock of all shocks, there was a lot of staff turnover. In fact, at one point, the entire crew just walked off. They just walked off.
Yep.
They
So
went.
it's like that. It's like that joke that I did in our Alone in the Dark commentary. Except this time it actually happened.
Like, look, I'm somebody who would love to make it in the industry, but there are limits to what I will do for success.
Then you are not a true artist, clearly, Jovo.
Obviously.
I love how Motivo, the black guy, is pretty much the only one who speaks sense
See?
around this guy.
Allow me to bring up something. Leonardo DiCaprio put himself into immense physical danger when shooting The Revenant. Here's the thing. He did it out of his own free will. He knew exactly what he was getting into. He made an agreement with the director. In fact, he himself said that he was very proud of his work there. So...
Oh, they're just playing. Oh, he says as they... Quick, get him! Get him!
These lions, on the other hand, they didn't consent because, well, they have the ability to consent, obviously.
Wow, I love it. They're just playing, he says, before they tackle him like he's in the goddamn NFL.
So, I'm just curiosity. I don't even know if they actually know this movie exists, but probably considering they love to mess around with everything, you know, and in this case might be a good contender. What did Pete have to say about this movie?
Surprisingly, I've not heard what Peter had to say about this. So anyway, the idea is that Togar's the bad rogue lion, and Robbie is like the big good top leader. So
the scar towards the Mufasa, okay.
Yeah. Again, I get the feeling all the blood on Togar's face may not have been applied. Like, holy cow! I wonder if they.
Go on.
I wonder if they legit just got the most psychotic line they could, or damn, they trained Togar as well as the makers of the makers of Cujo did for the dog.
Okay, I get the idea that this particular lion looks more sedated here than anything.
Well, that's just a lion being a big cat, lazy.
Holy shit! Like, how much blood is Togar having?
And how did he get it? Like, Jesus.
Like, did he murder one of the elephants and stuff his face into the intestines to eat that?
Oh, by the way, you may notice that Noel has an injury on his left hand. That is from when a lion bit clean through his hand, which ended up giving that hand gangrene.
Because, of course.
Amazingly, he did not end up losing the arm. Some might even say he powered through it. Like, I guess to give the man credit, he absolutely gave up. Thank you for that shot of that lion's testicles. I totally needed that.
It's the thing of when it comes, if you obviously not much experience with the nature documentaries because in a lot of them, you know, the animals just parade them pretty much, you know, willingly without having to, without having the camera to zoom in, zoom out, or somewhere else.
That is true. So here are the committee to talk about his grant. Remember, even though this was filmed in California, this movie is supposed to take place in Africa.
Oh yeah, it's what I was about to say. It reminded me of something that I heard recently, that apparently one of the Beastmaster movies did had like a lion or a tiger, that they wanted to have a panther, but they couldn't, so they painted this feline with black paint, which the feline was also allergic to, and it's showcased in the movie. Jesus. Which is showcased in the movie, and eventually the fucking poor cat died on set.
Good lord.
Yeah. Again, stuff like that movie and Cannibal Holocaust are the reason why we need those certifications about no animals being injured on set. Because otherwise, shit like that would be rampant these days. Hello, even the entire plot of the movie seems to rely about this guy wanting to reassure everyone that everything is fine. It's like what me and Pedro have said, the fact that this guy has to constantly reassured, almost as he has to convince himself of that.
Yep. When you usually my line on that too is people who aren't completely full of shit very rarely feel the need to remind me that they're not full of shit.
Yeah. Also, I would like to tell something about about the movie genre, Jova.
Yeah?
You told me that this is supposed to be a comedy.
Yes.
I haven't seen much in terms of humor so far.
What? You don't find lions mauling people and each other funny?
Holy shit.
And
is the comedy supposed to be? Is the comedy supposed to be this guy's beard or something?
Dweebs.
fun fact, actually, at some
Remember, Dweebs is very particular with people's facial hair.
fun fact, at some point when the Japanese investors came over to see how shooting was going, Neil Marshall ran out naked with puncture wounds on his neck while trying to herd some lions.
No, but gee, I wonder why the investors decided it was a better idea to just, drop out.
Gee,
And
I
to remind
wonder.
you, this was the second half of the period of the period of the movie. Basically, complete shooting and everything was the second half of the 70s, beginning of 80s. This was the time where Japan was having the economic boom, and as a result, the stereotype of a Japanese businessman essentially, giving their seal of approval towards American properties was basically the things that had to be expected around the time.
I legit have to wonder with Togar, did they just train that cat well, or was Togar always that
I
insane?
believe that blood is genuine.
Oh yes, a lot of it is. We mentioned injuries. A lot of those injuries do show up on camera. They left them in the film.
I guess it gives a quality to the movie of unintentional, obviously, but for these days, something a bit thrilling because it gives a complete 100% authenticity to the dangers of the scene. But on the other hand, these are still real people and real animals that you see injured, and as a result, also, what was the protagonist on Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas doing here?
I know, right? He looks a lot like him, but yeah, no, like, hey, if you want a film that's realistic, it doesn't get much more real than this.
There's a morbid part of me that's fascinated by this fact, but you still have to remember that the actual genuine danger and pain that these people had, and the risk that they took.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just from the cats, too, but again, we'll get to that later.
Well, Life of Pi is shorter than I remember.
Good lord.
In fact, I actually showed Dweebs that movie recently.
Wow, God, that tiger is legit trying to drown that man.
In fact, I kind of wish I was watching that movie right now.
As a reminder, when it comes to felines, usually tigers tends to be the best swimmer, or the genre out of the...
Basically, Dweebs so far has only seen his bad movies, so I wanted to show him one of his good ones.
I love it. The tiger is legit wrestling with that man. Dear Lord God. Again, all it probably would have taken was one person, potentially even Noel himself, dying, and this movie probably would have been canned. But
Not just that, causing a giant scandal and everything, raising awareness on the subject matter and everything.
And yet somehow, by the miracles of God, no human died during the making of this film.
That's like the most impressive thing.
Again, I'll give Noel this. Guy has balls literally wrestling with these cats, but yeah.
Comedy!
Yes!
Really?
Comedy! Look, kids, look at all the blood that tiger is drawing from that
Clearly,
man.
we need to add the sound, cartoony sound effects when the pratfalls are happening.
Oh, by the way, those guys getting mauled are supposed to be bad guys of the film.
Okay, I have to admit I did not actually recognize that. I thought it was just, random people of the coastline.
He's just playing.
Yeah, he wants a hug.
Like, normally this film would be just boring, but you can't look away during this, because...
Yeah, it is kind of like looking like a car, like a train crash. You know, it's the most awful thing ever for the people involved, but you just cannot look away.
Hey,
You know what? Give me a second, please.
hey, I know it's bad, but at least Togar, the legit psychopath, didn't get you.
Oh my god.
That may have been the mentality that Noel himself had while making this movie.
This is one of those kind of movie pranks where you can show the person this movie and they will find the movie funny because of how much violent it is. Then you at the end you surprise them by saying, actually, it wasn't staged. That was people. That was genuinely people getting injured, and suddenly the joke becomes very, very disturbing.
Like, you know, this is the inverse of when, you know, somebody makes a bad film but then claims, actually, I meant it as a comedy. No, this actually was meant as a comedy, but it makes for a much better horror snuff film.
I think it's one of those cases where it's not even a case of, oh, you just recut the movie with scary music and, you know, it's horrible. No, I think the genuine footage speaks for itself.
Yep.
Again, Mativo is the smartest character in this movie. Makes sense because his actor is one of the smartest people involved with this. Like, his reactions pretty much were crazy white people doing crazy white things. A family comedy.
Is this the deleted episode of Kimba?
Good lord.
Why couldn't? If only all the elephants were nice, they didn't have to be destroyed.
Jesus.
Maybe that's the idea, Tail. Maybe if these lions were nice, they wouldn't have to be destroyed.
Of course.
I love Osamu Tezuka, but yeah, the guy had.
We're gonna miss.
The guy had interesting ways of telling his story.
Good lord.
That's why, basically, when it comes to consuming both Astro Boy and Kimba, just watch the '80s interpretations.
Wait.
Kimba, not the OG ones.
I think when it comes to Kimba, the '90s actually series is probably the better of them.
Oh,
the problem is that when it comes to the American audience, it wasn't localized only like in half or something.
I was about to say, I just didn't know Kimba got other iterations. I know about Astro
A lot,
Boy.
actually. It's complicated and it requires a lot of time that we don't have.
Not to mention, Jova, the whole Lion King controversy bullshit obviously brings a lot of attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I knew that Kimba was a thing. I just didn't know it had different iterations.
A lot,
for time.
actually. But again, it's a lot to unpack.
So,
Yep.
yeah, injuries. Let's talk injuries again. During a promo shoot in 1973, Tippi Hedren was bitten in the head by a lion named Cherries, whose teeth scraped against her skull. Got him pretty deep.
Was that the bite of '87?
She was admitted to Antelope Valley Hospital. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's a different injury. For this one, she was taken to Sherman Oaks Hospital, where her wounds were treated and she was given a tetanus shot. Good lord. We're just setting up for the climax where Robbie and Togar fight, I guess. So you see, guys, the only reason the lions may act crazy is that it's Togar's fault. And it's not even really Togar's fault, because he was just born that way.
Of course.
You know, for as much as these guys try to act in tune with nature, actual Africans, who, mind you, probably have hunted some of these wildcats, will tell you that, no, it's not ideal. But hey, let's take a bath with them, why not?
Sure. Why the fuck not?
And again, gee, I wonder why his injury got gangrene. Maybe because of the poor hygiene conditions.
Oh, you're crazy too. You're crazy.
Of course. Maybe he just needed some alternative medicine or something.
Good lord.
Actually, we haven't talked about it. Who did the score of this?
Let's see.
It's mentioned the Philharmonic Orchestra, the National Philharmonic Orchestra, true.
Someone
but,
named Terrence P. Minogue.
I don't know about him.
But guys, look at the funny music. Listen to the funny music. Clearly,
yeah,
a
clearly that makes it
comedy.
a comedy.
I have to give that guy credit for calling to him in his character name and not yelling, "No help!"
Jesus.
You know, I'd say the cameraman's
And-
invincible, but no, not even the cameramen were invincible.
I think it speaks. Go on.
Yeah, let's talk about Jan de Bont. Again, I get the feeling Jan de Bont thought this film was going to be his big break because he really gave it his all to this film. And what did he get in return? Oh boy! He was scalped by Cherries, the same lion that bit Hedron in the head, except Cherries kind of obliterated his head. How much so? He was scalped. He needed 220 stitches to put his head together. And yet, he actually came back after that. Good lord. I have to wonder.
Suddenly, his choice of actually having the tornado roar in Twister kind of starts to assume a more dark turn.
I legit have to wonder if that bite drove Jan de Bont insane.
Or at least gave you some PTSD, because I can't believe that.
Yeah. And as for Togar, well, yeah, Togar, one of the lead lines, bit assistant director Joran Copper in the throat and jaw and tried to pull off one of his ears. So, yeah, he also received injuries to his scalp, chest, and thigh and was admitted to Palmdale General Hospital. Jesus, all these different hospitals. I'm beginning to wonder if they were full of people getting injured on this movie.
Still, I love the fact that, again, we're like almost 30 minutes in, and the movie just basically speaks for itself. Instead of actually trying to have a plot of any kind, it's constantly this guy and the people around him being attacked and reassuring, no, everything is fine.
Again, the problem is, like, when the lions aren't doing anything, they're doing what cats do, just lying around. And doing nothing. Because, again, that's how cats be.
I can only imagine the smell of his place.
Also, is it wise to group many male lions all together like that?
Yeah, they tend to be rivals towards each other, and I'm talking about, Togar and Mufasa, this guy Mufasa.
Good lord, his shirt is obliterated! I love how even though we're supposed to side with Hank, even Mativa was pointing out how insane he is. In fact, I've seen it in documentary shots, pretty much a lot of it is the actor saying, he was crazy, he was insane.
And I wonder how much of the dialogue is actually genuine, instead of, reading from the script.
Oh, this bit.
Oh my god. Jesus.
Good lord, what kind of child talks with their parent about their sex life?
Yeah, no, even in general, seriously, this is...
Anyway, how's your sex life?
Yeah, okay, aside from that, this has got to be some of the poorest exposition scenes I've ever seen.
Yep.
Why do I get the feeling Melanie
They
Griffith...
literally might just be doing the Zardos thing and have the character standing in front of a camera and telling what the plot is.
Also, I love how
The
she's...
gun is good.
I
The
love-
penis is evil.
I love how Melanie Griffith's character... I'm sorry, Melanie, because, yeah, that's literally her character name, says to her mother, "Well, I sure as hope not restraint that turned Dad away." Like, Jesus, girl.
Also, these animals apparently just, in between shots, destroyed the cover of the boat's engine.
Also,
Seriously.
why do I get the feeling Melanie Griffith did not put this film on her resume when jump-starting her career?
I wonder why.
Why?
Oh yeah, like I mentioned, they did also adopt some elephants. One of those elephants' name was, I kid you not, Tembo, Which makes me wonder, is this where Game Freak got the idea for Tembo
I'm
the
pretty sure
Badass
it's a
Elephant?
common name, in a language.
Kind of like Leo.
Yes.
Or even
lions.
Simba, Simba literally means lion in Swahili.
Yeah.
Because the tigers just had to come along. Again!
Comedy? Question mark?
Again, do you not see why we should conserve animals? Although, Double Toasted joked in their review that honestly this movie could be seen as propaganda for why we need to destroy these creatures with the violence and destruction they cause.
The tiger looks very confused.
It's like, I'm sorry, is this my scene? I'll just,
I don't get paid enough for this shit.
They only pay me 1 steak an hour. I demand more.
That's also raises also another good point. I hope that aside from the family, the people involved actually were paid decently.
Again, I have
Wow, great cut.
Yeah, from what John has said, his dad was very, very, very determined to see this film. Got to the point where he even yelled at John for standing up to him on some of this stuff. Wasn't exactly winning any Father of the Year awards. But it turns out there was a misunderstanding. See, he thought he was going to pick them up, but they arrived a little early. Huh, it's surprisingly quiet in here. Just like how the birds started up.
Yeah, Jesus, this acting.
Again, Melanie Griffith's start. Hey, look,
Hey,
look, it's an homage to the birds. I wonder if that may have had something to do with Tippi Hedren being in this film.
At least of it, she not got scratched.
Alright, what have I missed?
Yeah.
But, that's the thing. Until now, the plot has been virtually non-existent. It's mostly a collection of scenes with the tigers, lions, oh my, attacking people, and the protagonist constantly telling everyone, "Don't worry, everything is fine."
Yes.
And there's a daughter who's weirdly concerned about her mother's sex life.
Yep.
Like, what business is it of yours?
It was done for a scene with poor exposition, Lives. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, about Hedren not getting scratched. So yeah, not only did her teeth get scraped against her skull, but she also got mauled by a lion. Nearly lost an arm.
Okay, I'm surprised nobody sued no one at the end of the production.
Again, it truly is amazing.
Well, again, just because nobody died doesn't mean that, the people injured could have not sued.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure that won't backfire later.
Was this a bad decision in a David Cage game?
Oh, she's sleeping all tuckered out.
I guess the jet lag has to count for something.
Sweet.
Hi, Pelican. What was that shot? It just opens and there's a random pelican out there. Holy...
What are they eating?
Probably a zebra.
A comedy?
Where's the comedy exactly?
Why, I believe
I don't know, Dwibs. I still have to see something that's intentionally funny.
How about this?
Oh!
Let's play a game of...
Oh, look what the cat dragged in. Yep.
Let's play a game of Where's Wally, except replace Wally with comedy.
But guys,
It's like what Kadikro said, find the joke.
oh, but look at that, guys. They made a joke. Oh, look what the cat dragged in as they bring in the carcass of what they last ate. Hi, Togar. Even the lion cubs are eating in on the meat. Good lord.
Nope.
Yeah. Again, a comedy. Look at their faces
This is the kind of
in
movie.
fear.
This feels like the kind of movie that Jordan Peele would make. Like not, and I don't mean to injure people in real life. I'm talking about having a movie with this kind of concept. A family wants to film a movie about lions, but gets stalked and injured in the process.
Honestly, this is a good candidate for a disaster artist-esque film, honestly. Just this movie about this insane man who insists on putting the cast, crew, even his own family in danger for the sake of a movie that was going to speak to the audiences.
Oh, it's sure. Also, is that a photo of
John F. Kennedy? Yes.
How random.
Well, son, may the force be with you.
Yeah, the dialogue is very casual for the situation too.
Again, comedy! Jesus.
Whoa, that's gnarly, dude.
Hey there. Okay, that was kind of funny. I don't think that was intentional, but...
No, I think all the sources of humor in this movie are the unintentional stuff. And even then, you're mostly, your brain. It's probably your brain just, backing out of being potentially just as afraid of the people here. You're essentially coping.
Oh yeah, as for what happened to John, at some point a lion jumped on Lon and bit the back of his head and held on for around 25 minutes until the crew wrestled it off.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
He needed 56 stitches. As for Ezra's brother Jerry was bitten in the thigh by a lion while he was in a cage on set, and he was in the hospital alongside his mother Hedron for a month. Now, so far it may seem that Jan de Bont got it the worst, but we haven't talked about Melanie Griffith. See, Melanie had actually at some point noped out of the film, saying practically in tears that she did not want to come out of this movie with half a face. But somehow her stepfather, Noel, convinced her to come back. And the result? She got mauled in the face. Nearly lost half of her face. Jesus.
Starting to see a pattern. Also, we interrupted for a minute, the movie to bring you Alien Isolation, I guess.
No, Melanie Griffith, she needed facial reconstruction surgery. She nearly lost an eye and was almost disfigured for all of her life. It's kind of sickly funny because she specifically said she didn't want to come out with half a face. Yeah, she almost got reduced to less than half of a face. Good God. I get the feeling family reunions must be very awkward.
He's trying to hide in the fridge.
Desperation calls for even the most dire of actions.
I mean, it worked for Indiana Jones, I guess.
Yet, in a sense, it feels almost more dangerous in this film for some reason.
I mean, to be fair, the worst that Harrison Ford mostly risked was to actually fall down the cars during one of the many chase sequences that they filmed. Sure, it's still dangerous, but not like this.
Give Spielberg credit. While he did shoot some pretty crazy action sequences, for the most part, I recall the guy made sure that stuff was up to code and not whatever the hell this is. But guys, the lions are just misunderstood. If you show them love, they'll love you too.
I would try to say the joke of this scene is still going. But like I said, the circumstances made it right itself. The fact that, again, these poor people are still, being hunted by it, definitely justified the scene going on for this long. It almost makes me feel, like the actual frightening went on for this long during the period of shooting.
Keep in mind, a lot of the times the lions weren't doing anything, so technically these are the best shots.
Yeesh. Also, someone put in the music for the Genesis Mega Drive version of The Lion King.
I know, right? It's Africa, bongos, drums, that's totally African.
Again, it's mostly also the fact that the music is so unfitting, I mean, probably accurate for the location, but unfitting with what's going on. Yeah, no shit.
Is that acting, or is that just stuff that they were saying for real?
I don't want to know. Shush.
You can't have my daughter!
Also, yeah, I'm sure closing the windows will have an effect because they look so fragile as fuck.
Yes, stay here with the rest of the lions.
Okay, so the story, from what I've been getting, seems to be they're living in a house with lions and they're trapped.
Yes, and again,
Basically.
this is supposed to be a movie about showing the importance of the conservation of lions. These beautiful creatures. Look, I like lions. Lions are cool, and it would be flipping cool to have a lion. However, yes, while I recognize there are some stories of people who have been able to domesticate or make nice with lions, I also recognize that even doing that with just one lion would take so long to even pull off, let alone even be feasible. And here these morons are doing this with 150 giant cats, like...
Again, it's
actually relatively common, because remember, that's what, there's a lot of circus lion tamers who do that specifically so that the lions can perform tricks in circuses.
The thing is, though, I don't think this family had the same skills.
And even then, that artist started to fade out as more and more, reports about actual animal cruelty popped up.
Yeah, circuses... Well, hopefully circuses have improved their standards, because, they've been getting
this
this
stigma. If I recall
stigma.
correctly, these days it's mostly, trying to just stick to, human athletes like the Cirque du Soleil. But honestly, this works better as a lesson of, don't touch what you don't understand or what you don't comprehend, like nature. Kind of like Jurassic Park.
I was about to say.
Except it's fucking real this time.
I know, so what you're saying is that this was essentially the 80s' Jurassic Park, goddamn.
And if I recall correctly, Michael Crichton did wrote a couple of novels centered around Africa. I think the Congo movie was based on one of them. So there's a bit of hilarity in there.
Oh, goody. Now it's time for Togar to get involved.
Oh, goody.
Jesus, what was that cat on? Togar's...
Welcome to Cocaine Lion.
Togar is so insane, he scares off the other lions. Except for Robbie, or Zuru, by the time poor Robbie got shot.
For those who don't watch that many documentaries, groups of lions tend to not have too many male adults because there's usually, a big one that actually holds one, and most of the others are usually the females who procure, the meat for everyone by hunting, including the cubs. Occasionally there might be, but there are more exceptions. And usually, if another male arrives, it's usually for competition.
Here's Togar!
Jesus!
He literally just pulled a Shining. Good lord. Again, Jack Nicholson did not want to be involved in this.
Comedy! This is clearly a comedy, everyone.
Holy cow. Are you laughing yet? Jesus!
If by comedy you mean like Dante described, his divine comedy, I guess. Like,
Just let the shirt go, woman!
okay, so even in a movie like this, we could not even escape, probably unintentionally, but we could not escape also fan service.
Goody!
Jesus.
Enjoy this fan service as that lion tries to maul that woman to death! Nothing stops Togar, not even walls!
Holy
We're only
shit.
we're not even halfway through the movie yet.
Yeah, this should be the climax. Like, what's going on?
But don't worry, here's Ravi to save the day.
Is he?
Yes, because the music has now turned more happy, I guess.
Triumphant, yeah.
And watch as Ravi fights off Togar.
Also, I love the way it just abruptly cut to this music.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Even previously in the movie, they kept doing that, having these sudden, whiplash-like cuts.
And Ravi is like, there, my work here is done.
To be fair, he did something, I guess. So,
Jesus, those tears!
Can we actually breathe for a minute now? Yeah, me too.
Of course people still live in grass huts in Africa. Totally real. I don't know if it's better or worse than what North did.
Okay.
Well, with North German, that Africa bit was all you got.
It's been ages since I saw it I know they did that for the Inuit portion. Was there anyone in blackface in North?
No, but they had it so that the Africans...
Kathy Bates was in...
that was...
right, Kathy Bates was in...
That bit.
Blackface,
yeah.
As for what they did in Africa...
like I said, they had a bigoda as an Inuit. That should tell you everything.
They did the same for Kathy Bates, yeah. But in Africa, everyone, of course, swung in on a vine and lived in grass huts.
It's like the mentality that Frank Miller has towards people of the Middle East.
I get the feeling Rob Reiner was just trying to see, okay, after all this critical acclaim, let's see how far can I push the line.
So, yeah, back with the committee, Prentice, the evil guy, wants to go and shoot those cats to show them what's what.
Honestly, I don't even think it's a case where, the animals should have been, shot. Just leave them be. It's that easy. Leave them be. It's like those fucking stereotypes that pop up from the B2000 onward these days about rich white people dentists. I don't know why the stereotype is dentist, but apparently it's there, who go on safaris and shoot lions to make photos of themselves with a corpse.
I guess that guy is like, these lions wronged me, so I'm going to shoot them. And like the rest of the committee is saying, no, stand down. You will do no such thing. But he's like, to hell with you. And so he and his other bloke just, well, they're off to go shoot them. Wow. Hank's kind of an asshole, having like this guy act as the bait to keep the tigers distracted.
And also kind of crazy. Like, the more he talks, the more he convinces he's legitimately insane.
I wonder if that was Noel going insane during the 5 years of filming.
Again, movie's not over because we're busy halfway through, but I'm legitimately pondering, under which criteria I should judge in comparison to the Iron Doctor Miro, because both of them had the equal amount of damage, just for different reasons, And you can argue, on one hand, the man-made fault was, on a different scale than this one, but I don't know, something tells me that there are still a lot of similarities between these two.
There are a few, yeah, like, exotic locations, lots of damage and injury, extended shoots.
Well, I guess this one doesn't really rely on a washed-up celebrity, I suppose.
Or a prima donna like Val Kilmer was at the time, which, yeah, he was kind of the reason. Like, Island of Dr. Moreau is like lightning in a bottle, where everything that could go wrong with a shoot went wrong. Executive meddling, the director getting replaced, the actors being treated little better than animals, people going
Someone tried
crazy.
to flee the country and then she couldn't.
People going crazy and having orgies in the night and all that. Whereas with Roar, you get where they went wrong.
Okay, I think that's the best to be summed up. I think I found it already. With Iron Dr. Miro, the problem started happening with the production itself for a combination of factors and bad luck. With this, the problem was at the conception.
Like, and the thing was, the director, Noel Marshall, was in complete control. He could have stopped this, but he chose not to. It's like
Also, the editing. Sorry, not the editing. Sorry, the acting in this movie is
Garbage.
questionable.
except for when they're in pain and in fear. Oh wait, no, that's not acting.
That's just them being in pain and fear.
But these guys, oh, these villains, they are off to do dastardly deeds.
You know, there was a movie that I watched as a kid, which was called, I forgot what the English title is, but it was basically a lion who had essentially eyesight problem, and that was actually supposed to be a quasi-comedy, because it's a bunch of these people living in Africa, you know, and, finally this lion they actually befriend, and the reason why he's not predatory is because he has that eyesight problem, you know. And that one worked out a bit better. I will definitely need to rewatch it to see how poorly it is aged, because I have the gut feeling that it has. But it probably was a better time than this.
Just please bring that car back intact. So, yeah, when you get down to it, a lot of this plot is happening because of a misunderstanding. And now the family showed up at the house without Hank there to somehow make the place safer.
Hooray.
Like, honestly, what would Hank have done to make it safer? Those lions clearly have a beef with him, too. Jesus, that guy was left up in that tree for all day.
It's like Tremors.
Oh, this scene coming up. Part of this does make me wonder if the actor legit just had it up with Hank. Like, wait till you hear what he has to say to him. Jesus! That tiger is literally trying to press him in the trunk!
Again, like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park with the kids. Did Spielberg watch this movie and thought he could replicate some of the effects?
But thought, you know, I'm just gonna do it with animatronics. Like, I'm not gonna use...
Again, there seems to be some kind of similarity. Most definitely coincidences, but the resemblance is uncanny.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
you have to wonder, were the big cats revolting on film? Like, geez, some of the stuff feels like an orchestrated snuff film. Oh, this bit. He's
Stop
pretty
nudging me, I'm trying to act here.
he's pretty much saying, yeah, your cats are probably eating their family, and it's all your fault, you insane moron.
Deep shit.
Again, I legit wonder if this was just the actor venting at Noel. He was about to leave him! Asshole!
Wow.
Again, Mativa was like the most sensible character in this movie.
Bye.
Well, hopefully nothing more can go wrong.
Why do I want to press X to doubt?
That's because you have more sense than Noel Marshall clearly did. Why do you have to? Actually, yeah, you should have. Why didn't you?
Well, for the movie. That's the thing. I can't tell
He
what's
named his
scripted.
car Leonard.
No.
I can't tell what's scripted and what was just the actors going off on him.
I know, Leonard was the name of the guy he borrowed the car from. But look at this, guys. The lions are just playing all peaceful
As the music tells us.
as they tear apart the family's suitcase and
Nope,
luggage.
they're still there. No, the radio system.
And
Lion killed the radio star.
Oh, he's putting his helmet on. Isn't that
Oh,
cute?
I guess that goes for comedy, I suppose. Holy shit.
Not too long ago, Togar nearly obliterated them. This is honestly, this makes for a legit good horror film. But that's not what they intended.
I don't know. I'm starting to genuinely believe that the lions are actually the good guys. If only we could somehow redirect their anger towards just the director.
Well, don't worry. No got plenty of that too. Again, some people wonder if he legit willed his injuries to heal because he got banged up pretty bad. Like I mentioned.
Also,
A lion eating a shoe. Very funny.
that tiger has legitimately the shoe stuck in their teeth and she was just in pain. Poor bastard.
Keep in mind, doctors thought Noah was going to lose his arm from one of the injuries, but somehow he pulled through. But hey, if it's any consolation, the movie was a failure. No, pretty much never directed another film after this. His production company went under, and yeah, his
family in this case. I guess these things are supposed to be all the comedy, like seeing the animals interact with human objects, like in the Tarzan movie.
Was that one of the few things they managed to train the lions to do?
Probably.
Marshall died in at the end of June 2010 at the age of 79 as well.
Oh, so yeah, he's dead.
That poor tiger. Okay, again, so far the animals has mostly been just, clueless, not really. Is that it's a turtle plushie. Mostly just, victim of circumstances. But that tiger also, with the shoe stuck in their teeth, was just painful to look at.
Oh, goody, look who's back.
Back again.
Togar's back. Tell your friend.
And yes, that divorce
He's
I
literally
mentioned
licking
earlier,
his chops at the sight of them.
that divorce I mentioned earlier, that was a result that was confirmed by Marshall's son John. That was a result of what happened during the production. Hedren said that Marshall would become aggressive whenever they fought, so she put a restraining order on him.
So you're telling me that between that and what she had to pass through with Alfred Hitchcock over the years, Tippi Hedren just did not have a very pleasant life.
Also, there were some incidents, including apparently Marshall treating Melanie Griffith not very well. What happened was the cast had safe words when filming a scene became too risky. Griffith used hers at one point, but Marshall didn't listen and kept filming anyway.
Wow. Don't tell me that was the scene where her face got mauled and she ended up needing facial reconstruction surgery.
I love how the lion is like, nope,
I don't know which one exactly. I don't know what it was exactly, but yeah.
I love it. The lady's like, no, I want to keep the boat. I guess this is also supposed to be comedy? Question mark?
I guess.
And yet the year after this film came out, he ended up being on Blue Peter, and I'm like, why? What would you give him a badge for? Insanity.
Okay, I wanna know this. Please tell me, Jova, that Siskel and Ebert had to say something about this movie.
Let me see.
I don't think they had a program. Their program was already on by the time this came out.
Yeah, their program may not have been.
Siskel and Ebert. The program started in 1975.
Oh, never mind then. Okay.
However,
it lasted through till Siskel's death in 1999.
Well, see if you can find if they made a review of Roar. Most people, I think all of the episodes have been uploaded to YouTube by fans.
Even in general, they should have given some stars at least the basic score that they did.
No, not I can tell Wikipedia anyway.
The film received mixed to negative reviews when it was first released, of
Gee, I
course.
wonder why.
Although
Also, somehow this film got a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes with 25 reviews.
I guess the critics were impressed by the genuinity of the scenes.
Well, the consensus is Raw may not satisfy in terms of acting, storytelling, or overall production, but the real-life danger on screen makes it difficult to turn away.
So it's legit a case where the film is renowned for, again, what happened behind the scenes. Okay, the elephant scene, goody. Let's talk about that. So, Tembo the elephant was actually one of the friendlier animals on scene. That being said, elephants do not know their own strength. See, during a scene, he accidentally crushed Tippi Hedren's leg with his trunk. Now, to be fair, Tippi has gone on to say that he was actually trying to help steady her since he is friendly, so to be fair, that one was actually an accident, unlike all the maulings. That being said, he did buck off one of his trainers, and, well, yeah. The trainer kind of, got heavily injured. He bucked his trainer into a tree and broke her shoulder. As for Tippi Hedren, well, yeah, the crushed leg and all that, especially also after she fell off of Tembo, yeah, she was left with polytopus and gangrene in addition to a fractured hand and abrasions on her leg. It was for this one that she was admitted to Antelope Valley Hospital. So yes, Tippi Hedren may have gone to at least 3 different hospitals during the making of this movie.
Holy shit. Also, the only information I could have found is that the website, rogerdieber.com, has one of the people working there, Simon Abrams, giving this movie a 2.5 stars out of 5. That's generous.
Like I said,
even taking aside the real life events, I argue this barely qualifies as a movie. This really genuinely feels more like a documentary.
You would think, but nope, there's a story and everything. They try to push it as a comedy, but oh god.
See, in Life of Pi, there was an actual trained tiger used, yes, but any scene that could potentially be dangerous to the tiger was use a CGI tiger instead.
Like, okay, yeah, CGI wasn't a thing yet, so usually when you had lines or stuff...
Puppetry was expensive back then, you couldn't just call Jim Henson and do willy-nilly things.
The thing is, even when people did have lines or such in their movies, that was like, maybe 1 or 2... Like, not a whole
also,
army.
interrupt the movie to give you a western. Like, what is Sergio Leone doing? Okay. That's the pun, because they don't lie on fucking hell.
Oh. Wait, people travelling around on horseback. Joker, are you sure this isn't the island of Dr. Moreau?
To be fair, I don't see, Val Kilmer making out with a pig lady. Came with the zany, quirky music, like God. Tone.
Jesus.
I really wish someone like Tarantino could get a hand of the negative of his movie and recut it with more appropriate music to frame it properly in the horror context.
I know, right?
I mean, you don't have to do much job, it's just to put different music in the scene, and you're good to go.
Again, one way to get lines to react was to use bikes, so yeah, time for a bike chase scene. Oh!
Oh no! Was it like a Sonic style? Oh no!
So it's like Inspector Gadgets.
Jesus, these cats are way too organized when it comes to killing people.
Well, that's literally in their instinct, Jova.
Well, gee, maybe it was a bad idea to gather them all together like this.
It's a shame that Deji could not join us for this, considering actually he was born in Africa.
I actually did offer for him to commentate with us, but he didn't get back to me. We'll
I mean,
probably.
if he had to say stuff about Deck the Halls 2006, I just wonder what he would have said about this.
Well, again,
It's
like
also-
like Shiroi, I guess we'll need to include him in the Generations commentary.
Indeed.
Yes, Pedro?
The interesting thing that I always like to joke about when I was showing Lion Guard to Deji, I even made a joke about I'm about to ruin Lion King for you. Did you know that? And this is something that you can check if you look documentaries and shit like that. Did you know that technically there's a lot of lion prides are all just a big incestuous thing.
Yeah.
So technically Simba and Nala are siblings. So because it's one lion for all the lionesses.
Yeah, like I mentioned before,
yeah.
the group of the lions tends to have just a dominant male. Panthers, we haven't seen those in a while.
Huh, I gotta say, Black Panther 3 is looking pretty savage.
More like Wakanda Never, Jova. Like,
Wakanda never.
You know, this is why
Wait,
the
okay. The way it was animated, the way that bit was edited, it made it look like the panther was talking.
I can just imagine in universe T'Chaka showing T'Challa this movie and telling, "See, kids, this is what white people are doing."
you know
And then
this is
T'Challa's like, I can imagine T'Challa's reaction after seeing the movie would just be telling whoever saw it, get out of my kingdom.
like this is why Wakandans are very. Oh, welcome,
Okay,
welcome to welcome to Jackass.
Whee!
I guess that's a legitimately comedy moment. Fair enough, you get one movie. Here's your clap.
Yep.
I love that bit. What kind of jerk would go off the roof on a motorcycle? Hey, don't blame me. My dad
Oh
directed
my
me
god,
to.
he's like biting your ass.
Poor Melanie. Jesus Christ, look at Tippy trying to pull this
Yeah,
lion
also,
off of her
pro
daughter.
tip,
Yeah.
never do that. Like with any animal. Pulling the tail is the worst thing you can do.
I think this is the scene where Melanie got mauled in the face, too.
I wonder what could tip you off for that. Yeah, sorry, TP. The Virgin Mary is not gonna help you with this.
Also, was this single camera or multi-camera? Because if it's single camera, then how are they doing all these reactions?
I don't know, Dej. Sorry, I don't know, Waves. My bad. Sorry.
That's
Don't worry.
okay.
What I get tonight is just cheap canned beer, so it cannot really boss me up.
A comedy!
Yeah, the music is more heartwarming, don't you see? They're just playing with these big cats. Holy shit.
You know what this feels like? This feels like something you see in a comedy sketch, you know, that shows how inept and life-endangering the director is, you know, insisting that the cameras roll no matter what. Except, this really happened. That man put his family through all of this.
All for the sake of entertainment, I guess.
Like,
No, that's the thing, Dweebs. It's not even entertainment. Again, judging from what Jova has told us about the development and from what in universe in this movie is being told, I genuinely think this guy believed in the bullshit that he said.
like, honest question. Does this film convince you that lion conservation is important as opposed to just the fact that lions and big cats in general are dangerous and want to eat you?
It convinces me more like don't film films with animals like this.
Again, this should have been a wake-up call for... Oh, here's Togar again.
Yeah.
It should be a wake-up call for Hollywood in general and American society as all to say, stop fucking with nature, leave that shit alone, you know. But because of the fact that this movie bombed, nobody actually knew that much at the time.
Although, to give him credit, I don't think any other film has done this. Like, this is like the action park of movies. Oh god, that line literally got out its claws.
Yeah, it was literally she was even putting out these claws, her claws.
But yeah, no, like, this movie is like the action park of movies. It could probably only have been made back then, and you will probably never, ever see something like this made again.
Nope. There's no way.
Oh
Probably
yeah.
for the better.
Well, obviously.
Oh yeah, fun fact, for this scene, in order to get the lions to want to, dip their tongues in the water to make the scene feel threatening, they gave them stuff like salted pork to make them thirsty for a drink.
And did the actor also risk to drown? I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
If I recall correctly, I think this might be the scene where John got his head clamped down on by Cherries the lion.
Mostly because in order to get up for air, he will need to stare close to their mouths. So yeah, I can believe that.
Meanwhile, Togar is making a scene, of course. Again, like...
It's a barrel of fun! Haha, see? Comedy!
See, the thing about Togar is, with most of the lions, I can just chalk that up to lions be doing lion things. But Togar legit feels like the lion equivalent of a serial killer. Like, I legit have to wonder if something was legit wrong with that lion.
Whee!
That's not terrifying at all.
Yeah,
Totally.
told so.
Who's the composer of this movie? If
I
there
already-
was one.
We checked before, but I don't know what else he did.
I already mentioned it. His name is Terrence P. Minogue. Minogue. Never heard of him
Minogue.
before.
Is he Kylie Minogue's father? That would be the ultimate twist.
It doesn't say. On his IMDb, he has credits for Roar,
Of course.
and that's it.
So
That would
this
explain, considering that this movie did not have much of a budget to begin with when it comes to, Okay.
this is a weird scene. Yeah, drip that honey all over her face.
Did the family, patriarch decided to just include his fetish in one scene? What the fuck was that?
This is so
People
telling.
being covered in honey.
This
Okay.
film is telling me so much about the importance of lion conservation as it pours honey down Tippi Hedren's face.
Even the elephant is like, fuck off.
Yeah. Oh. Jesus Christ,
Holy
that elephant
shit.
nearly impaled him.
And he's still trying to.
How'd they get
Like,
the camera
look at
shots
that.
inside there? Like, kudos and all, but damn. Actually, I wonder if
And
anyone...
again, I love it. It's like... This is making stuff like Frozen 2010 having a Shakespearean plot, because literally there's been just that simple premise, and then the entire movie is just people being attacked, and it's not even that much of a variant. It's just the beginning a bit of the family father and the guy that he had hired, and then the rest of his family. And apparently this seems to be the entirety of the movie. I thought something else was gonna happen, but no.
I love how the lions are just watching this like, well, it's your turn to entertain us now.
Oh, the panther wants a kiss. Probably because of the honey. Also, just to mention, in case again someone doesn't know from documentaries, panthers and jaguars are actually more dangerous than lions, because unlike them, they usually tend to operate alone, and as a result, they are more deadly because they have to hunt for themselves.
I get that it's good that Tippi put her foot down with her husband afterwards, but I have to wonder, after her experience with the
Especially the
birds,
cheetah.
after her experience with birds, what in her right mind told her any of this was a good idea?
okay, I cannot play. I do not know the people involved to this kind of level, so I cannot play armchair, psychiatrist for this one. But if I had to hazard a random guess, maybe when the project originally started, she might have doubts, but she was like, he's my husband. I want to believe in him because I love him. But by the end of the project, I was like, fuck that.
Maybe. Although keep in mind, they even threw references to the birds there, so God forbid
Well,
Tippy actually wanted that. And yeah, this
honestly, I think she should have. Honestly, I think she should have actually, live action cameoed in Birdemic, rather than just a thing on the telly one scene, because that one actually was probably a better experience to work. I remember James Wan recently showcased the fact that he's kind of an asshole, but probably for the first movie, people had a better time.
Well, one thing we can say for sure, Birdemic was safer, because none of those birds were real. Where the hell is Hank?
I thought you were going to say, where the hell's the comedy?
Yeah.
What are you
Also,
talking?
I'm guessing Joba is trying to find who Heisenberg is.
The development of this movie must have been interesting. You either be bored out of your mind watching these big cats do nothing, or you be terrified for your life as they try to maul you to death. But maybe, just maybe...
I'm pretty sure this created, if it wasn't already present on a mass level, this created a mass panic of people being afraid of lions and cats as a whole.
So, like Jaws, go figure.
Kinda. Not to the point of people wanting to actively hunt them down, because they were afraid. I'm talking just about being afraid of them.
Oh no, the poor lion was shot by the asshole Prentice. Clearly the humans are the baddest guys in this movie.
What have we become?
That reminds me, I've seen Congo recently. There's a line where Ernie
I
Hudson,
love it! That supposedly dead lion moved.
Yeah, even now I saw him twitching. There's a moment of it towards the end where Ernie Hudson has to literally tell the protagonist, who's very concerned about the gorillas. Ernie Hudson has to say, "Look at me in the eye," and everything he says. We do understand, but in terms of priorities, humans comes before gorillas, right?
Again, it's funny that in scenes like these, it's usually the black person who has to talk the sense into the white folk on this stuff. Oh no, I guess they shot the tiger too.
What
Not
have we been?
like
Who's
this.
the real monster, Jova?
Oh no, they're twitching and I think they're dead? Or something?
No, that lioness looked more confused than anything.
That's a very easy question too. Like the real monster is Noah.
I guess they trained these cats well enough to play dead. Except for that one.
Even trying to play injury just doesn't work. Okay, composer. I get that it was probably your only major job, but the way that the music was building up in that scene made build up as something like an anger or a jump scare or something. But instead, we go back to the triumphant moment. This fucking score.
I mean, at least it's not as bad as, saying scores like Puma Man.
Good lord, I feel like...
Puma Man, he flies like a moron.
I feel like every scene he shows up in, Togar somehow manages to have even more blood on him each time.
I mean, at least we have that song though, Glibs.
No, I agree.
Yeah, but-
The score in that movie sucked too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though, Pedro. That song wasn't even in the movie itself. It was the MST3K guys making fun of it.
All right then.
The instrumentation is there. It sounds more like a Super Nintendo game.
Well, time for the bad guys comeuppance by... getting taken down by Togar. So, hold on, I thought Togar was supposed to be the bad lion, but he's taking out the bad guy human, so... What are you saying, movie?
I don't know.
You're next. That's good, Togar. Okay, cut. Togar, cut.
uh,
Yeah, not that good
I
a
guess
plan.
I guess they took the comedies derived from misery way too literally.
Good lord. Yes!
The key to comedic gold is to have a bunch of lions eat people. There you go. We figured it out, ladies and gentlemen.
I love it! Oh, you poor stupid jerks. Like, even in their death, he has to be all high and mighty above them.
Also, I'd like to mention something. At the beginning, we showcased that there were plenty of cubs that these cats had. Where did they went?
Oh, they
Like
show
you
up
want
every now and then.
you want to have comedy. Maybe having a scene with them would have actually lightened up the mood.
Oh, but look at this, guys. Now the lions are finally
Sleep.
calm and
Uh,
sleeping with
sure,
them like
I'll
they're
leave 'em
one of the
away.
pride. Okay, I legit have to wonder if Noel set up the scene while his family was asleep, and that's why they look legit terrified when they wake up. Aw, that one actually gave him a hug. Oh, there's a cub.
See, everything is fine now for some reason. What the fuck?
Because Togar's gone. See? Again, the movie seems to run off the idea that Togar was the one corrupting the lions to be bloodthirsty.
Sure.
Goodness gracious.
I can also imagine the heat that these poor people had to endure. It's still pretty hot in there, admittedly.
Oh yeah, especially in the desert area. And again, filming got extended
There's the
because...
cop. Very ferocious. See, the movie needed more scenes like this one. Like we spent the past 2 hours. No, sorry, the past hour and 20 minutes. With constant tension, and now we're getting a bit of relief. Finally, it's like I'm watching a Don Bluth movie, except the real people were harmed in the process.
I know, right?
It's like they had a first act, but then skipped the second one and went straight into the third.
You know, it's fitting because Don Bluth shoots cats like they're ferocious lions often in his films.
Yeah.
Like, I had to wonder, did Don Bluth have a traumatic memory with a cat or something?
He
Because...
grew up in a farm, if I recall correctly, so who knows?
No. You're mistaking the Don Bluth of movies with the Don Bluth of gaming.
Look at them finally bonding with nature. Please don't hurt me. Oh, don't worry, I won't hurt you. He will. Go, Robbie! Or Zaru, because sadly at this point, Robbie had been shot after the flood in 1978. So, yeah, instead they had Zuru fill in for him. Which makes Robbie's son apparently an orphan. Truly, the climax of Lion King is nothing on this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, let's.
Hello, lion.
Yes.
Oh,
Let's.
Wildcat.
Yes, let's pretend that they're just saying hello and not trying to have him for lunch.
What the fuck is this movie?
It's insane. And then it looks like they were having a moment there? What?
Do you want more insanity?
Daddy was scared.
It looked like Robbie and Togar were kissing there all of a sudden. What?
Again with the pratfall.
You think?
Yeah, you think? You idiot.
Please get off my wife.
No, this human is mine. Leave me alone.
She's my play toy now.
By the way, I'm leaving you.
Yeah, I want a divorce.
Hey, see? Bye.
Okay, again, I have to wonder, was that just Tippy Hedren breaking character for a bit and smacking him for everything he put them through?
Potentially. Also, I see this guy's head also was mold at some point.
And then they all cut. They're like, Dad, you nearly killed us like 50 times.
I love it. We're having the still cold, the still very heartwarming music, But when we have the poor bastard, Nativo, still being chased instead by them with the umbrella.
Yeah, don't tell the family that one of my lions killed 2 men. Good lord.
I'm surprised for you. The filming's over. That's a surprise.
Also, Jova, I forgot if you mentioned it, but apparently the committee members, the evil people, attacked by tigers, they were played by the animal trainers.
Oh my god. Really?
I'm sensing some irony in all of this.
Surely this event has brought them together closer as a family. Which is ironic given what I did to them as a family in real life.
Please don't tell me dance like this.
This sounds like one of the widest bands you could get for an African setting.
Yeah, even both of the songs at the beginning and this one. Like, say what you want about Congo because it has its own kind of outdated elements, but at least that one bothered to have also the same kind of score and singer that the Lion King had. At least they bothered to try.
Also, I guess Togar is now good or something because Robbie put him in his place? Like, what happened with that?
Cubs, Joe. Shut up and look at the cute kittens.
Again.
Love became a guiding... What, really? In this?
Again. I imagine it would be tough enough with just one big cat. But 150? Good lord. Well, I guess if you ever wanted to see how lions, tigers, panthers, cougars, leopards, cheetahs, all the like would interact, this is your film.
Yep.
What is this discount Beatles song? Let me see.
He is smiling through all the insanity.
Music. Terence P. Minogue composed the film score and recorded with National Philharmonic Orchestra. Robert Florczak, created the film as Robert Hawke, provided vocals for the original song such as Whose Land Is This? But both musicians with assassination, you know. No,
Aw.
I don't know what this final music is, what the song is this.
The lion gave Jerry a kiss goodnight.
Oh, sure. I guess it's gonna keep you hot, because clearly the climate demands that.
God, imagine all the static electricity.
Okay, I think one of the reasons why the movie bombed is because apparently it wasn't actually released in theatrical in the United States.
Wait, what?
apparently.
I could have sworn it was released theatrically.
Mentioned here, Roar was not released theatrically in North America. Hedren stated that it was not released in the United States because distributors wanted the lion's share of the profits, which she and Marshall had intended to allocate for the care of the film's animals. So there is that. Potentially another reason for prohibiting things released in North America was because the crew was non-unionized, except for Ian the Bond. That really is right. Time is a flat circle.
Oh yeah, we totally have to include him and Sheree on our generation's commentary of this film.
I have to be honest, Mojoba, as much as I would be interested to hear their reactions, one for different reasons when something like Ghost Head, I don't want to touch this movie anymore after this. There's something just wrong with this experience that, yes, one is fine. Enough, no more. I guess this is literally just the entire ending. One gigantic song with just some B-roll footage that they had of the animals.
They really should have just made a documentary. And look, you want to have a sanctuary for lions? That's fine. In fact, from what I understand, Tippi Hedren actually did convert the set into a sanctuary for lions after the making of his film. And Noel helped with some funding, but since they were divorced by that time, he was not as direct with it. It's just... I don't even know if I can appreciate what they were trying to go for here, because yes, I get the message about conservation, but the way Noel...
That was the same shot as before with a different filter.
Wow.
Lazy.
Wow, this legit is a home video.
Oh my god.
And that was it.
We hope you enjoyed that movie, everyone. No
Directed by
refunds.
Noel Marshall and his scared friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna use instead the quote, the clip from MST3K, because it describes
Oh my
the
god, god. Even Mativo's real name was Mativo.
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed the No Moral Theater, ladies and gentlemen, because what happened in this movie?
Well, let's see.
We have the premise, and the rest of the movie is the family arriving and being stalked by the animals. That's it.
Oh god, Togar had his own theme.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what Jan de Bont and Jerry Marshall were thinking when they were trying to edit this together.
Probably, and the Bond was probably like, I can't wait to start working on Speed.
Well, Speed wouldn't be for another 13 years after this movie, because he was, interestingly enough, his cinematography work carried on through until On the Main 1992, with of all movies Shining Through.
Wait, really?
Which also starred Melanie Griffith.
Oh wow, what a reunion that must have been. Hey, I remember you. You were from that film where we nearly died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I haven't heard any, needless to say, the production of Shining Through was nowhere near as chaotic and frantic as this movie. The only thing people keep talking about that movie is how bad it is, but
I legit have to wonder though, like, did this movie have an effect on Jan de Bont's psyche? Because
maybe.
I mean, again, you try having your scalp be destroyed to the point where you need 220 stitches just to live, and yet coming back to work like 2 or so days later.
Alright.
Well, the only person that would know that is Jan de Bont himself. But anyway, as for my thoughts on the movie, is this even a movie? It just feels like a collage of animal shots and actors running away screaming from actual animals that could kill them. And they try to tie a comedy around it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Which it utterly fails at. Really, the only praise I can give the movie is that, well, it's shot. It looks nice, you know, the lighting and the way the film looks is okay enough. But then again, yeah, the Bond was partly editing his own footage, so there you are. But the direction that poor man was given is crazy. I mean, it nearly killed him for a start, along with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing this movie is why do it like this? I mean, it's not funny. It's not a documentary. All it is. Was this guy doing it just to troll everybody? He was playing a prank on them, saying, "Oh no, the lion's gonna eat you! Haha, April Fool." Except I'm not sure this was filmed in April.
And keep in mind, sometimes they legit did eat the people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, could you imagine? You know how people joke that Christopher Nolan actually does do the things he does because he's such a stickler for authenticity.
Except nobody got injured.
Yeah, I mean, the worst that has happened is that people complain that he legit destroyed an authentic fighter jet.
Well-
oh no.
But yeah, no, Dwips does have a point. Like, this legit feels like one of those jokes you hear about, oh, in order to make this film uber realistic, insert X director will do incredibly dangerous thing to make it authentic. Except he legit went to those lengths. Like, this is more dangerous than the time that Christopher Nolan actually legit set off an actual bomb. Just think about that. It's anything else?
Yeah, that's the film's only real significance for me, to be honest. Aside from all the near death, a movie that could maybe be used as people making deliberately exaggerated jokes about that kind of thing. Except honestly, even from a behind the scenes perspective, it's not even that funny because people nearly did legit die or get their limbs hacked off. I mean, Jesus. No wonder the guy never directed anything else after this. This guy was a health and safety insurance disaster waiting to happen.
Would not be surprised if he got blacklisted on top of everything.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, though, Joe. Right? I think he may do one or two producing projects after this, but that's it.
Huh. Yeah, remember, his producing company went under as a result of the money that this movie sucked up.
Yeah, that's it for me. This film should be a cautionary tale. Don't do this.
And to give the human race credit, as far as I know, nothing like this movie has ever come out since.
Oh, God.
So we can learn, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The system works. The system works.
Question mark.
All right, Pedro, why don't you go next?
I mean, like, okay. This thing is a complete fucking disaster because there's no plot. It's mostly just people being stupid and being eaten. And that's all this movie is.
In or out of universe?
Yes.
I get the... Okay, how about this? This movie would be a masterpiece if we grouped up. Let's put in all the evil people here in the world and put them in a place full of lions. Now that would be definitely a hilariously satisfying movie, but that's not what they did. So unfortunately, this is a very disturbing thing to do. I get the feeling the best thing about this movie is that it can serve as a great prank. Just a prank, bro. But yeah, like, it's stupid, it's nonsensical, and it was not worth it to torture these poor animals just for this shit. It's whatever. It's terrible. One of the worst movies ever. for good reasons.
Again, apparently the
So-
Japanese liked it enough to make their own poster for it, as Tio showed.
Which really seems okay. It captures the idea of many felines at the same time surrounding the humans, but it makes it look more like it's a fucking Madagascar ripoff.
I know, right? Like, what were they thinking? And is this poster the reason this movie apparently did well in Japan? Like, I know the Japanese have their own sadistic game shows and all, but I would think they have their limits.
Takeshi Kitano has class, Drova, please.
Yeah. I gotta ask about the details on that later, but anything else, Pedro?
Not really. What more can I say about this piece of crap? Like,
You're
it's just like,
welcome.
there's nothing here. There's no movie in here, really, when you get right down to it.
And yet, it keeps one captivated. In more
It's like
ways
trying
than
to
one.
it's like trying to describe the mechanics of big rigs over the world racing. What exactly am I supposed to be describing?
Under the road, over the road, who the fuck knows?
That's it. Go on.
Alright, Tio.
Yeah, I'll go next. Holy shit. There's a lot to actually process with this, but again, my questions still remains. This barely qualifies as a movie. There's not much going on. And to be honest, it wasn't really worth it in any kind of capacity. Not even to promote the supposed shelter they were making for, coexistence with lions. Again, this serves as a stark reminder that people, particularly spoiled, rich, white people, and stuff like in countries like North America or Europe, should just leave the rest of the world alone, particularly nature. It's stuff that's beyond, our control, and just needs to be let there. Maybe preserved, but not in this kind of state that happened. And geez, between again the animals being confined in spaces and the poor humans being traumatized in and out of universe, because I can legitimately believe people like Ian the Bond and T.P. Hendren got the worst out of this. This really feels like someone should have been, denounced to the police at some point after making this movie. Sure, the divorce happened, but that was kind of it. No, I think someone needed to pay reparations for this. Like if this thing had happened today, people would have never seen the end of any scandals tied to this. I'm surprised that they actually kept instead of the racial stereotypes to a minimum. You would think that a movie like this would actually go full through with that, especially since this was end of the 70s, early 80s.
Thank goodness for small favors.
Again, consider the standard of this movie, you have to take what you can get.
I
That
guess.
sometimes include the bite of a lion in your face. No, fuck this movie. I really don't want to touch it anymore. This was one time was enough. That's it for me. Jova, please.
Oh boy, Roar has been touted as the most dangerous film ever made. And oh boy, does it live up to that reputation. And it says something that's part of what the 2015 re-release was sold on, because holy cow, this movie is unbelievable, but it actually happened. It's like all those great disasters, like the sinking of an unsinkable ship happening on its first voyage, the Hindenburg disaster being a 1 in a million feature, but it actually happening. This movie managing to see the light of day while nobody getting sued, but also thankfully nobody dying. And yet, oh my god, the actual film itself is a whole ton of nothing. But the thing is, you don't pay attention to the fact that it's nothing because you're too busy being concerned for the safety of these people, because about 90% of this movie is people getting mauled by giant cats or getting their legs broken by elephants, but I digress. Like, seriously though, it feels like the animals at some point were rebelling and were specifically thinking of new and creative ways to try and kill people. And again, then there's Togar. Again, either they gave that cat some of the best acting lessons they could, or Togar was just built to be a killer, because seriously, Togar Oh, look, if there was any chance of this being a comedy, Togar just picks it up in his mouth, tears it to pieces, and then throws them out the window. Seriously.
Although I will have to. Well, that is true. I will still take the dog from the artist as the best animal actor.
Seriously, though, again, when it comes to Togar, he might even be more terrifying than the dog in Cujo. Which, again, if that's acting, well done, but Jesus. You can tell these cats were not exactly trained the best. And the conditions that both animal and human had to suffer alike are just... Again, it's like something out of a comedy series that's poking fun at how terrible a film is being made, but no, it happened. This is real, and I guess if you're a sucker for realism in films, well, you'll get a bang out of this, because it's definitely realistic. The blood, the injuries, and everything. Oh, wow. No Marshall may have had good intentions, but we all know that's what Hell's 4 is paid with, and there may be a place in hell for him for doing everything he did to the cast, the crew, his family. Like, I don't know if amends were made, but he earned that divorce, fair and square. And honestly, it's a miracle that his son John even helped him with the re-release for this film. Like, and even still, it doesn't seem like John really wanted much to do with him at that point. Goodness gracious. I guess the reason they had the committee members be played by the animal trainers was because at least I guess the animal trainers would know how to contend with these cats better, so they could fake getting mauled.
It feels to me some morbid humor in a sense that they're meant to be played the roles of the people who will get mauled and canonically killed by the two-third mark.
Jesus.
You know? Like, it feels like that kind of joke that Cisco Evil to mention about Roland Emmerich, of if you want to make a star in a movie and you hate us, at least have the disaster or the monster kill us.
Like, again, Tippy, I know that you thought this was a good idea when you saw those lions in that Portuguese house, but again... After your experience with the birds, was there not something that was sending you warning signals at some points? Like, good gracious. Like, no. Like, I don't care how famous this could potentially make me. I think I would have called it quits by, like, at the very least, the end of the first year of filming. And to be fair, humanity does have a chance because apparently a lot of staff members did at points just say, you know what, screw this, and just walked off into the desert, taking their chances with that bout of nature instead of Africa's nature. Good lord. It is amazing. And again, it's like the action park of films. You will probably never see another film made like this. It is unique, one of a kind. And honestly, thank the Lord for that, because, man, can you imagine if this sort of stuff was considered A-okay by standards? Like, Jesus, I think then we'd actually legit be seeing a good number of deaths in film. And to be fair, yes, there have been cases where people have died during filmmaking. It is still shocking that the most dangerous film ever made actually managed to not have casualties. Like, I had to wonder, did Noel make a deal with the devil and, like, he got this film but in clear monkey's paw fashion? Because it legit boggles the mind how it was made and made it to the end. So, Tio, did Italy enjoy the film? I know Japan and Germany did, but, you know.
To be honest, Jova, these days it's not talked that much, and quite honestly, I don't know how much it would have been popular, even back then. Like I said, it had a release and a title, apparently. Let me check quickly if it was properly released in theaters. The film was distributed in my country by a local company in February of 1982. So yes, we got a theatrical release.
You got a theatrical release before America did in 2015, I guess.
And as it was custom with a couple of, movies around the time, the songs at the beginning and the end are replaced with the songs made in my country. For reason that escaped me, I just say that. But it doesn't state what was the reception. And to be honest, I don't
Let me
think
see.
that there was that much.
Good lord. But yeah, no.
I'm trying to see if my country got it. Hold on. It was screened at the Lisbon International Horror Film Festival.
Okay, what was the
See,
title?
we know exactly what this is.
Yeah.
I'm seeing here, Pedro, that your country has a different title on its own for the movie.
Yes, we do. It's
What
called
does it
Men
mean?
and Beasts.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's fitting.
Good lord, like, again, it truly is amazing. Normally, you see something like a bad horror comedy or like bad genre anything, and it works as a comedy, but this is the rare example where a bad comedy actually works better as a horror film than a lot of actual horror films. Holy cow.
Well, that's why Motox, the distributors over here, decided, well, let's market it as a horror movie.
Again, that's pretty much what it is.
Even the tagline for my country is was similar and says, 1,000 lions enter your house. Which
Yeah.
is more threatening than anything.
Oh, wow, yes. This is Roar. Gaze in horror at the very audacity that a human can go to make a movie with practical effects. And don't get me wrong, I love practical effects and all, but, I can get why nowadays we tend to CGI animals in. That being said, with that in mind, I think that closes the book on the saga of Roar, the most dangerous movie ever made, and let's hope it stays that way and nothing tops it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
See ya.